morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Tuesday, December 15th, 2015. In the aftermath of the shakeup at Cooper Gay, one of the things that's being sold is Cooper Gay's Swett Crawford division. Apparently, Ryan Specialty Group and Barnett Bank and Trust, also known as BB&T, are among the two bidders that remain, alongside about 10 other private equity firms. More than 30 interested parties are understood to have made contact with Cooper Gay about the U.S. wholesale broker, but most of those that had submitted indicative offers were actually eliminated from the process. According to the Insurance Insider this morning, a number of the bids or the interested parties actually were coming from other brokers who were deemed to be unacceptable fits for this arrangement. Apparently there is some concern from the Swett Crawford wholesale producers, actually from the Swett Crawford retail producers, of potential conflicts that could happen if a wholesale broker ended up owning them. It's going to be a pretty penny, according to sources. Perella Weinberg, which is running the auction, are expecting the winning bidder, to pay at least $600 million. Swett Crawford has earnings before taxes, depreciation, and amortization of around $50 million a year. This would imply a valuation of about 12 times that amount. Yesterday, the Houston Ship Channel, probably one of the more critical waterways in the world, was shut down for about 3 hours as a result of a burning tanker. About a 2-hour stretch of the largest petrochemical port's waterway in the United States was closed down. The fire was extinguished about an hour and a half after it began, but the Coast Guard kept the channel closed for another hour and a half afterwards. Apparently the fire began on a tanker, the Navigator Europa, which was moored outside the Targa LPG export terminal, according to a source. Now, LPG is liquefied petroleum gas. Had something like this ever exploded, you could probably hear the explosion in New York. The Coast Guard confirmed that the tanker was loading ethylene when the fire started. Ethylene is a chemical used in making plastic. The shutdown held up 3 outbound ships and 1 inbound tugboat and a barge. The closure, had it extended longer, could have temporarily halted crude oil deliveries to 3 refineries: Valero Energy's 100,000 barrel a day refinery, the Lyndon Basil Industries 260,000 a day Houston refinery, and Petrobras 100,000 barrels a day refinery. The aftermath of Typhoon Melor in the Philippines apparently has only resulted in at least only 1 confirmed death. There are 2 other people remaining missing. 730,000 people were evacuated to higher ground. The storm has now weakened, but is still packing winds of about 85 miles per hour and gusts of slightly over 100. The Filipino Meteorological Office expects that the storm will move out across the South China Sea later today. A coalition of Muslim nations will form a joint operations room in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, to combat terrorism in Islamic countries. This is the first coordinated Islamic military effort to combat extremism such as ISIL. The military coalition includes 34 countries and is backed by 10 others. The Saudis made this announcement on national TV earlier today. The coalition includes Saudi Arabia, Jordan, the United Arab Emirates, Pakistan, Morocco, Bangladesh, and Turkey. An electrical disturbance at New York's Indian Point nuclear power plant caused one of its reactors to shut down yesterday. The nuclear power plant is located 30 miles north of New York City on the Hudson River. Entergy, which runs the plant, said no radioactivity was released and there was no threat to the public or to the staff. Indian Point's Unit 3 reactor automatically shut down, quote, safely as designed at about 7 p.m. last night. The governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, said there had been a number of recent unplanned outages of Indian Point, and this would result in increased inspections and scrutiny at the site. Back in May, a transformer exploded at the nuclear power plant, causing a large cloud of smoke and alarms that were audible across the river. Bermuda apparently has no tsunami plan, and warning exercises are generally not taken seriously. This is according to a scientific report on Hurricane Joaquin that touched into Bermuda earlier in the year. The Bermuda Institute of Ocean Sciences alleged that also, should a cruise ship run aground in Bermuda, as happened with the Norwegian Dawn back in May, no contingency plans exist on the island to accommodate the thousands of passengers and staff. The government's Ministry of National Security conceded that both claims were in fact correct, but added that plans were underway to address them. The government said that they're having difficulty getting people to pay attention to potential tsunami difficulties. The report said that they praised the island's strict building codes and robust houses, but also noted that people don't take tsunami planning seriously. They noted that a tsunami had struck Bermuda before following an earthquake near Newfoundland back in 1929, and said that care should be taken to ensure the public does not become complacent. A spokesperson for the Ministry for National Security said that they're hard at work as well in developing a plan to accommodate cruise ship passengers and staff who may have to be offloaded from a cruise ship if it runs aground on a reef, as well as passengers from an airplane should it overshoot the runway and end up in the water. Hotels and schools, as well as other temporary lodging facilities, have been identified and will be set aside as the need arises. One thing about Bermuda is if you're flying there from the United States, regulations require you to have enough fuel to fly back to the United States in case there is obstruction on the runway at Wade International Airport. There is no other place to land. You have to come back to the continental North American coast. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.